Okay, welcome back to the Seven Deadly Sins anime review, episode number 26. Yep, 26. This I'm reviewing the newest episode of the anime, which is 77 Child of Hope. Cry of Victory, or the case in the manga, or Victory Cry. Yep. First, let's talk about the newest episode of the anime, which is chapters 253 to 255. Yep, and in case you're wondering, do they skip anything in here? No, they don't, which I do like that very much. They do that. Yeah, it seems as though when they started this particular arc, they were like, there was actually about 2 or 3 chapters. They didn't even adapt the whole freaking thing of it, and now, yeah, they're adapting the whole thing. The entire chapter. I mean, there's a couple minor changes they make in here. What mostly happens in this episode? Well, first of which, you start off with Arthur in Camelot, where he just wander around trying to get to the castle. And it turns out that Pinora, the demon who's got a thing for Escarota, aka Mel, yeah, so later he's Mel, yeah, and basically her job is to keep people away from the castle with her infinite maze, which I should point out though, in the anime that's referred to as, and if it's translation I've got, basically first was that, but here's something strange though. Kisha Comics, which is the same company that publishes the Fairy Tail manga, refers to as the Fairy Tail Maze for some strange reason. I have no idea why in the world they did that for. Yeah, my only guess is the reason why they did because they're the ones who translated, the ones who published the manga, so they figured, why not? Yeah, and like Kath is like saying like a couple times, I'm hungry. It's like, oh, okay, don't worry, we'll find something. And then Kath wanders away from Arthur somehow without us noticing. Pines Pathra. Oh, in case you're wondering, in the manga, do we see Kath actually eating Pathra? No, we don't. We just see that he's hungry, and think of the two one. Think of the word two, but it's a minor thing. And next time we see the area, we see Pathra's hand, implying that Kath ate Pathra. Yeah, the manga didn't show us at all, so this is not something that's. You better think, oh yeah, did the anime sense this? No, the manga did the same thing, so that was actually not a change. He gets to the castle, no problem. And now before I continue, basically what happens after this, I have to talk about basically what's going on with everybody else. Now, we also see Elizabeth, we see a marker like, okay, 2 days before her curse activates. So, we just have the Merlin talking to Gothor about making some adjustments to his body. He's a doll. And them talking about like what the actual what Gothor's creator Gothor did during the actual war, what caused the end of it. In the case of, and then after that, we have Escanor walking with Hawk. I should point out there's a minor visual change here because in the manga, on the bag that Hawk is wearing, Hawk is carrying a bag on top of his like body, whatever. He's a pig. He can do this. And Escanor himself is in basically his sunshine mode. And in the manga, the bag clearly says Boar's hat. In the anime, it's just a plain bag. What looks like a slightly different color scheme. It's still the same bag, but there's no close-up of saying Boar's hut. Yeah. And then, of course, then we see Larciel, who's still possessing Margaret. Yeah, he possessed Margaret for quite some time. Basically, her and the other two archangels basically get drunk. And in case you're wondering, like, where is Henderson, Dreyfus, and all this? Were they cut from the episode because they didn't appear in the manga chapters? The answer is pure and simple. They were not in the chapters at all. That's why they're not here. Simple as that. Yes. So, and then we have her confronting Escanor, which he's like, who are you? It's like, I met you last night. It's like, really? And then he says, excuse me, and he hops on the castle itself. I don't like people who are shorter than me basically looking down on me. Yeah, this scene is completely accurate to how it was making the manga. And they talk for a while, and of course they mentioned that Escanor's power comes from 4 graces, like lightning, ocean, and his basically is the sun, and it belonged to Mel. And she's wondering, like, where'd you get the power? Did you steal it? And he's like, no, I was born with this power. And at the brief fight, of course, he destroys her. He basically breaks her, but don't worry, she's probably going to get back anyways. Because it's a good thing you have me as an ally. Why do you want me as an enemy? He's like, okay, I like you. I'm going to keep you around. Good. Be sure to stay out of my way. Yeah, in case you're wondering, yeah, that's completely accurate too. How I was making the manga. And, oh yeah, we also see briefly King Diane and Elaine. Well, King Diane comforting Elaine while Bonnet's off into purgatory. Yep, completely accurate scene. The scene, little minor scene, comes right after Elizabeth's scene. And as far as I can tell, oh yeah, there's one other thing. Oh yeah, and also Escanar's shirt is destroyed, and it's like the rest of the episode. Merlin talks to the rest of the 7 deadly sins, and like says that we have to go rescue Arthur. And there's actually a wording change from Escanor here, because in the manga he says he can't wipe his own bottom. In the anime, they change it to he hasn't woken his magic yet. That actually is much better thing for him to say than how he is in the manga. At least Merlin didn't smack him for basically calling Arthur a brat. Yep. Him objecting basically to Merlin's plan, that's completely accurate to the manga. And they talk for a while, and that's it for the 7 deadly sins for this episode. Now, as for Arthur himself, once again, the castle, he is there to get his sacred sword, revealed to be later Excalibur. Yep. And he goes in. He walks past some knights, and then he's confronted by Zedros. Yes, Zedros. And look up, he knows exactly who he is. And Kat basically, and all of a sudden, like, I think it's not Karsak, I think it's the other guy who is Zedros' mentor. And, like, he doesn't know who he is, but he does reveal who he is. He's like, I'm Arthur. I'm the king of this king. I'm Arthur Pendragon. He's like, really? Yeah, they're like surprised at this. And eventually he gets away from them, and because thanks to Kath basically distracting them, and he goes to the room where Excalibur is, and he's confronted by Meliodas in his demon mode. He does not like Meliodas like this at all. He says, "You're not the Meliodas I know," and the way they talk basically for a while. Yeah, the conversation is mostly accurate with the manga. And then he takes out the sword. Also, Merlin does basically give a description of the sword's history, where it started off with one particular hero and it passed to various different heroes because the sword is cursed in a way, the way that she describes it. And apparently Arthur is the one who's chosen, and apparently why Arthur is so important to her, because she believes that he's chosen to be the leader of Britannia. Okay, and then pretty much we start their fight between, we have Arthur versus Karsak, and I forget the guy's name. There's also a brief scene of Essarosa going to Galahad. I think it's not the one who's the Sin of Truth. The Commander of Truth. Yeah, still in the stone thing from the previous season, and he wrecks him just to get Second Commandment. He does a little spell, which the spell when I tell English sub, it's actually not translated English sub. So basically, you have no idea what the heck he's saying. He's speaking Japanese. Well, here's kind of the thing. It's the words what I can tell anyways. What he says, it's the same exact words he said in the manga. So that's completely accurate. I'm surprised they didn't actually those little words like what he said. Yep. Takes the Commander of Truth. And that's last to see Commander of Truth, because I think that's where he actually dies. He's dead. He's completely dead at that point. Yeah, and Zedros, when he first seen the episode, he's come back empty-handed. Of course, he's been informing Meliodas basically that the 4 angels, the archangels are back, and the power came from Lord Steel, the leader of the group, which that's completely accurate in the manga. Then the episode ends with basically the big fight, which by the way the manga basically has to take place of course 2 chapters, which makes kind of sense to do this, and of course the fight stops halfway, but they get to the fight for the next episode. Episode itself, really good. I think like the only they made a couple artistic changes. One thing, Kath is actually a lot more bloody when he gets beaten up by Korsak and the other guy. In the manga, a lot more blood depicted here. Yeah, there's a lot more blood in the scene and a lot more slicing. It's a minor change. I'm not really going to complain about it, but mostly put, good job, Studio D. You did a great job with this episode. Just my opinion, anyways. I mean, other people were complaining early on that the animation sucked when it comes to particular season, but I think the animation, I think it's gotten better, and they've actually taken their time, not rushing through it like they did before. Yep. Now to go to the newest chapter of the manga, Victory Cry. Yeah. Chapter starts off with the most 7 deadly sins, saving Merlin and Arthur from Kath. Yeah, Kath at this point basically is a giant demon, and they begin their fight with them. Yep. That lasts pretty much the whole chapter. Yeah, and then we have a big, humongous battle between they have most of 7 deadly sins with Elizabeth and Arthur fighting Kath in this 2-page spread. And they fight for a while, and they go, yeah, time to go. And then we cut to, look like sometime later, looks like Elizabeth Melioso got married. And yeah, everyone's like so happy. Yeah, there's something wrong with this thing. I'll explain in a minute. Apparently, Hawk has died. So is Bond? Like, what? Apparently, King and Deanne basically are in the demon realm for some reason. And then we see Elizabeth dies because apparently that the curse is over, will be dying. Apparently, that's the end of it. And then apparently, Kath has returned years later. And of course, Meliodas somehow the King of Leonis somehow. And goes to his demon mode, slice the demon. And it's like, Bond's gonna go away. Yeah, and then he wakes up. Yeah, it turns out that those last few pages were just a hallucination. They're still fighting, and basically it's like, what was that hallucination of reality? Neither. It is as if you had an uncertain future, like the one taken in the world. Arthur, you're okay. Yeah, but not for long. We're preparing to defeat him. And he really wants to eat Arthur because he wants that chaos power. And the chapter ends with, that's it. I know how to defeat Kath. I know how to defeat you. And that's how the chapter ends. Basically, him holding a sword in his hand. Next chapter is Eternal Kingdom. Really good chapter.
No change, right?
No change. Anyways, yes. The chapter itself is really good. I read it just before I did this actual review, and I'm gonna give the chapter roughly a 9.5 out of 10 because, yeah, looks like we're gonna wrap up this fight possibly next chapter. And yes, I have heard that the series is going to be ending really soon, with only 1 volume left. Yeah, which some people say at the time before this chapter was released, or at least at the time it was released, about 5 chapters left. So we might be seeing this series in the chapter 347. It's possible. Excuse me, but if I were the writer, I would probably end it not at that particular point. I would end it at like 350. Much more simple number than 347 because, yeah. But not much else to say about this. Both really good. Looking forward next chapter the manga comes out and newest episode of the anime. Oh, and by the way, the episode aired today was the 20th of the season, so we're probably going to have about 4 left. And looks like though next week we're going to wrap up Prelude to New Holy War and start New Holy War. And as for how far I think that the series will get with it, my personal guess, probably the first 4 chapters of it. Yeah, we're probably going to spend if we're going to get Season 4, we're probably going to spend almost the entirety of Season 4 covering this particular arc because of how long it is. It's roughly, in case you're wondering how long this arc is in the manga, it's 52 chapters. Yeah, it's 52. Yeah, but not much else to say, but really good. Okay, so that's it particular video, and that's the only video I was going to plan to do today anyway. I was going to do one other video, but don't have time to do the other video. So I'm probably going to have tomorrow at least 1 video I can think of tomorrow. Actually, two. Basically, be Inuyasha and Attack on Titan I do tomorrow. Okay? But these next two. Bye.